The Dominion warship materialized from fold space, its obsidian hull absorbing what little starlight reached this remote corner of the galaxy. Commander Ellis Hayes watched through the Defiance's forward viewport as humanity's nemesis appeared. A massive vessel shaped like a barbed talon, easily 20 times the size of Earth's last surviving warship. "Tactical analysis," Hayes ordered, his voice steady despite the cold dread pooling in his stomach. Lieutenant Rodriguez's fingers flew across her console. "Dominion Dreadnought. Configuration matches the one that destroyed the Arcturus fleet. Energy signatures indicate weapons charging. 3 years ago, the aliens had emerged from the depths of unknown space, their technology centuries beyond humanity's. They had destroyed Earth's colonies one by one, their motives unknown, their tactics ruthless. No communication attempts had succeeded. No surrender had been accepted. Earth itself had fallen 6 months ago. The Defiance, a prototype stealth corvette with experimental weaponry, had been humanity's last, desperate gambit. While the combined fleets of Earth made their final stand in the Sol system, drawing the Dominion Armada into battle, the Defiance had slipped away with a skeleton crew of 16 and a cargo that might, just might, turn the tide. "Stealth systems holding," reported Chief Engineer Cato. "They haven't spotted us yet." Hayes nodded grimly. "Status of Project Prometheus." Dr. Ameri looked up from her station, dark circles under her eyes after months of sleepless work. "The dimensional inversion device is operational, but completely untested. We have one shot at this, Commander." One shot was all they had. The Defiance's conventional weapons couldn't scratch a Dominion vessel. Their only hope lay in Dr. Ameri's invention, a device theorized to collapse the aliens' advanced shields by inverting the dimensional frequency they operated on. "Sir," Rodriguez's voice took on an urgent edge. "The Dreadnought is deploying probes. Sweep pattern suggests they're hunting us." "All hands to battle stations," Hayes ordered. "Prepare for emergency maneuvers." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, each aware they carried the last flicker of humanity's resistance. Their families were gone. Their homeworld was gone. All that remained was this mission, this final desperate chance to prove that humanity would not vanish from the universe without leaving its mark. "Dominion sensors activating," Rodriguez reported. "They're using a new scanning frequency. Our stealth field is degrading." Hayes gripped the arms of his command chair. "Time to deployment range for Prometheus." 3 minutes, Cato answered. "We don't have 3 minutes," Rodriguez countered. "They'll have a weapons lock in 30 seconds. Hayes stood, decision made. New plan. Drop stealth. Divert all power to engines and forward shields. We're going in hard and fast." The Defiance shuddered as its stealth field collapsed, and the engines roared to full power. On the tactical display, the massive Dominion vessel pivoted with impossible grace, its weapons ports glowing with gathered energy. "They've seen us," Rodriguez announced unnecessarily. "Evasive pattern Delta," Hayes ordered. "Let's show these bastards what humans can do." The Defiance lurched forward, accelerating toward certain death, and their only chance at victory. As the first salvo of alien energy weapons lanced toward them, Hayes thought of Earth's burning cities, of humanity's dwindling flame. This was not just revenge. This was survival. Brace for impact. The first alien barrage missed by meters, superheated plasma splashing against the Defiance's shields and casting the bridge in eerie purple light. The human vessel rolled and pitched, its maneuvering thrusters firing in complex patterns designed to confound targeting computers. "Shields at 60%, Rodriguez reported. "They're recalibrating weapons." Hayes leaned forward. "Distance to deployment range. 90 seconds at current velocity," Cato answered. Dr. Ameri's fingers danced across her console, making final adjustments to Project Prometheus. "The dimensional inversion field needs to penetrate their outer shields. We'll have to get closer than we initially calculated." "How much closer?" Hayes asked, already dreading the answer. Ameri swallowed hard. point-blank range, practically touching. A stunned silence fell across the bridge. Point-blank meant suicide. Even if Prometheus worked, they'd be caught in the dimensional collapse. "Sir," Communications Officer Patil interrupted, "I'm detecting quantum transmissions from the Dominion vessel. Massive data bursts directed toward the galactic core." Hayes frowned. "They're reporting our position." "More than that," Patil continued. "These signatures match those we recorded when they coordinated their attack on Earth. I think they're calling for reinforcements." The tactical implications were clear. If they failed here, the Dominion would hunt down any remaining human outposts or vessels that might have escaped their notice. Every survivor, every child who might carry humanity's legacy forward, all would be found and exterminated. "New plan," Hayes decided. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, target their communications array with conventional weapons. Engineer Cato, prepare for a micro-jump." A jump. Inside their weapons range. Cato's eyes widened. The calculations would need to be perfect. 1 decimal point off, and we materialize inside their hull. "Then be perfect," Hayes replied simply. "Dr. Amari, reconfigure Prometheus for remote detonation." The bridge crew exchanged glances. Hayes wasn't proposing the suicide mission. He was proposing something even more dangerous. "You want to jump away after planting Prometheus?" Amari asked incredulously. "The timing would have to be." "Impossible." "Yes," Hayes finished for her. "Just like everything else we've done since Earth fell. Make it happen." As the crew raced to implement his orders, Hayes studied the alien vessel on the view screen. In 3 years of warfare, humanity had learned precious little about the Dominion. Their technology seemed to operate on principles that defied human understanding. Their biology remained a mystery, as no corpse had ever been recovered. Their motivations for exterminating humans were unknown. All they knew was that the aliens were methodical, thorough, and utterly without mercy. "Incoming," Rodriguez shouted. This time, the alien weapons found their mark. The Defiance rocked violently as energy beams sliced through its shields and scored its hull. Shields critical. Hull breach on Deck 3. Emergency bulkheads engage. Hayes gripped his console as damage reports flooded in. Status of Prometheus. Ready for remote deployment, Amari confirmed. "But Commander, the calculations." "Jump coordinates locked," Cato interrupted. "Will materialize 20 meters from their hull, directly adjacent to what we believe is their primary shield generator." Hayes nodded grimly. "Execute jump on my mark." 3, 2, 1. Mark. Space twisted around the Defiance as its experimental fold drive activated. For a heartbeat, reality itself seemed to bend and warp. And then they were there, so close to the Dominion vessel that it filled every viewport. Deployed Prometheus. Jump drive cycling for emergency retreat. Amari slammed her palm on the deployment control. A small, unassuming pod ejected from the Defiance's hull, shooting toward the alien vessel. Dominion point defenses tracking our pod. Jump drive at 30%. 50%. Prometheus has attached to their hull. "Jump now," Hayes bellowed. The universe blinked. The Defiance emerged from its emergency jump tumbling end over end, its systems screaming in protest. Emergency lights bathed the bridge in red as acrid smoke poured from shorted consoles. "Stabilizers offline," Cato coughed. Attempting manual correction with maneuvering thrusters, Hayes pulled himself back into his command chair. Status of Prometheus. Rodriguez wiped blood from a gash on her forehead. Detonation signal sent, but no confirmation received. Distance is complicating quantum entanglement. Through the viewport, the Dominion dreadnought appeared as a distant dark shape against the stars. It seemed undamaged, its weapons beginning to reorient toward the Defiance's new position. "They're pursuing," Patil reported, "and still transmitting. Reinforcements estimated to arrive in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. If Prometheus failed, that was all the time humanity had left. "Engineering," Hayes called over the comm. Status of our drive systems. A voice crackled back, distorted by interference. Main engines at 40% capacity. Jump drive needs 15 minutes to recycle after that emergency fold. Hayes did the mental calculations. They couldn't outrun the Dominion vessel, and another jump was impossible before reinforcements arrived. If Prometheus didn't work, they were finished. "Sir," Rodriguez said suddenly, "I'm detecting energy fluctuations from the Dominion vessel. Their shield harmonics are shifting." All eyes turned to the view screen as the alien dreadnought seemed to shimmer, its outline becoming less distinct. A ripple of blue-white energy spread across its surface like water disturbed by a stone. "Prometheus is working," Amari exclaimed. "The dimensional inversion is cascading through their shield network." Hope, that most dangerous of emotions, flickered across the faces of the bridge crew. For 3 years, they had known nothing but defeat and retreat. Now, for the first time, they were witnessing an alien weakness. The Dominion vessel's weapons went dark as the cascade intensified. Blue-white energy crawled across its hull like lightning, intensifying with each passing second. Then, unexpectedly, the energy pattern stabilized. "What's happening?" Hayes demanded. Amari's face fell as she studied her readings. "They're adapting. Their systems are reconfiguring to compensate for the dimensional shift. Prometheus is still active, but they've contained the cascade." The momentary hope curdled into renewed despair. Even humanity's most brilliant innovation wasn't enough. "Their weapons are coming back online," Rodriguez reported grimly. "Primary targeting systems reacquiring lock on us." Hayes stared at the alien vessel, his mind racing. Prometheus had affected them, even if briefly. That meant they weren't invincible. And if they weren't invincible, "Dr. Amari," he said suddenly, "what would happen if we detonated our jump drive while in fold space?" Amari looked at him in shock. "Theoretically, a catastrophic dimensional rupture, but we'd be destroyed in the process. And if that rupture occurred within range of a ship already experiencing dimensional instability?" Understanding dawned in her eyes. The combined effect would be exponentially more devastating. Hayes turned to his crew. Each face held the same realization, the same grim determination. Humanity had always excelled at turning defeat into victory, even at terrible cost. "Plot a jump course directly inside the Dominion vessel," Hayes ordered. "Set the drive to overload the moment we're in fold space." No one protested. No one suggested alternatives. They all understood what was at stake. "It has been an honor serving with you all," Hayes said simply. As the Defiance turned toward its final confrontation, Paddle suddenly straightened at her console. "Commander, I'm detecting new quantum transmissions, but not from the Dominion vessel." "Source?" Hayes demanded. "Unknown, but the encryption pattern," her voice faltered. "Sir, it's human." "Repeat that," Hayes ordered, certain he had misheard. "The transmission is definitely human in origin," Paddle confirmed, her fingers working frantically across her console. "It's using Earth Defense Force encryption from before the fall." A ragged sound escaped Rodriguez's throat, something between a laugh and a sob. "We're not alone." Hayes forced himself to remain focused. "Can you trace the source?" "Working on it," Paddle replied. "The signal is being bounced through multiple relays to mask its origin." On the view screen, the Dominion dreadnought had fully recovered from Prometheus's effects. Its weapons glowed with renewed energy, preparing to deliver the killing blow. "We still need to deal with our immediate problem," Hayes reminded them. "Maintain course for final jump. Weapons target anything that looks important. Make them work for it." The Defiance surged forward, its engines burning beyond safety parameters. The remaining missile batteries discharged their payloads, knowing they would do little damage but hoping to distract or delay the alien vessel. "Sir," Patel shouted over the rising wail of overtaxed systems. Transmission decoded. Message reads, "Defiance, hold position. Reinforcements inbound. Authentication code Sierra Tango 019. Hayes froze. That was Admiral Thomas's personal authentication code. And Admiral Thomas had commanded Earth's last defense fleet. He had supposedly died with Earth. Could it be a trick? Kaido asked, voicing what they all feared. Before Hayes could respond, space rippled behind the Dominion dreadnought. A massive vessel emerged from fold space, unlike anything they had seen before. It bore Earth's insignia, but its design was alien, its hull gleaming with the same exotic materials that composed Dominion ships. What in God's name? Rodriguez whispered. More ships appeared, dozens of them, forming a battle group that quickly surrounded the lone Dominion vessel. They were clearly of human design, yet incorporated elements of alien technology, as if humanity had somehow reverse-engineered Dominion systems. The comm system crackled to life, and a familiar voice filled the bridge. "This is Admiral Thomas of the Earth Reclamation Fleet to U.S. Defiance. Well done, Commander Hayes. Your diversionary action allowed us to close the trap." Hayes could scarcely believe what he was hearing. "Admiral, Earth Reclamation Fleet. How is this possible?" "No time for a full explanation, Commander," Thomas replied. Suffice to say, not all research outposts were discovered by the Dominion. While they focused on population centers, a deep space engineering station was working to adapt salvaged alien technology. Your Prometheus device was just one approach. We took another. As if to demonstrate, the lead human vessel fired a weapon unlike anything Hayes had seen before. A beam of scintillating energy struck the Dominion dreadnought, bypassing its shields entirely and carving a deep furrow in its hull. "The Dominion believes they destroyed humanity," Thomas continued. "They don't know about our hidden colonies in the Oort cloud or the shipyards we built there. We've been waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves." Hayes watched in disbelief as the human fleet engaged the Dominion vessel. The aliens fought back ferociously, destroying two of the smaller human ships, but they were clearly outmatched by the combined force. "Your mission succeeded beyond our hopes, Commander," Thomas said. "The data you gathered on Dominion shield frequencies with Project Prometheus was the final piece we needed. Pull back now and prepare to dock with the flagship. Your crew has earned some rest." As the Defiance limped away from the battle, Hayes watched the view screen with a mixture of relief and suspicion. Something about this seemed too convenient, too perfect. "Admiral," he said carefully, "what was the name of your first command?" There was a pause, just a fraction too long. "The Intrepid, of course, Commander. Now stand down and prepare for docking." Hayes's blood ran cold. Admiral Thomas's first command had been the Relentless. Every EDF officer knew that. Whoever, or whatever, was speaking to them, it wasn't Admiral Thomas. "Maintain course, but do not, I repeat, do not power down weapons," Hayes ordered quietly. His gaze met each bridge officer's in turn, silently communicating the danger. "Sir," Rodriguez questioned, though her hand already hovered over the weapon's controls. Hayes kept his voice steady, aware that their communications were being monitored. "Admiral, we're experiencing some systems instability after our encounter with the Dominion vessel. Request permission to delay docking until we've completed diagnostics." "Denied, Commander," the voice replied, a new edge of authority creeping in. "Our intelligence suggests additional Dominion forces will arrive soon. Your vessel must be secured immediately." Patel muted their outgoing communications with a quick gesture. "Sir, I'm analyzing the transmission pattern. There's something underneath the voice, a carrier signal I've never seen before." "Can you isolate it?" Hayes asked. "Working on it," she replied, fingers flying across her console. Hayes unmuted the channel. "Admiral, with respect, my ship is barely holding together. Rushing the docking procedure could endanger both vessels." The response came with unnatural quickness. "Your concerns are noted, Commander, but my orders stand. Prepare for immediate docking. Security teams are standing by to assist your crew." Security teams, not medical teams for our wounded, not engineering teams for our damaged ship. Security teams. Hayes nodded to Kaido, who began quietly reconfiguring the ship's systems. To anyone monitoring their power distribution, it would appear they were preparing for docking procedures. In reality, he was rerouting emergency power to engines and shields. Understood, Admiral. Beginning approach vector. The Defiance moved toward the massive flagship that had identified itself as Earth Reclamation Fleet. As they drew closer, Hayes could see more details of its construction. The design was indeed reminiscent of Earth vessels, but something was fundamentally wrong. Proportions slightly off, angles too precise. "Commander," Patel whispered urgently, "I've isolated the carrier signal. It's not human technology. It's some kind of psychic imprint. I think whatever we're talking to is trying to influence our perceptions." Hayes felt a chill run down his spine. "Are you saying this entire fleet is an illusion?" "Not exactly," Amari cut in, studying Patel's findings. "The ships are real, but they're not human. I believe we're witnessing a Dominion psychological warfare tactic. They're attempting to appear as what we most hope to see." Rodriguez swore softly. "The Dominion reinforcements. They're already here, disguising themselves." The pieces clicked together in Hayes's mind. The aliens had never tried to communicate before. Why start now with such an elaborate deception? Because Prometheus had genuinely frightened them. They had called for reinforcements not to destroy the Defiance, but to capture it, to secure the dimensional technology before humans could use it again. "New plan," Hayes said calmly. "Adjust our approach vector to bring us past their engine section." "Dr. Amari, do we still have control of Prometheus remotely?" Amari nodded slowly. "The device is still attached to the original dreadnought, but it's dormant. I could reactivate it, though I doubt it would have the same effect now that they've adapted." "We don't need it to have the same effect," Hayes replied. "We just need enough of a distraction to execute our jump." Understanding dawned on the crew's faces. The Admiral Thomas deception proved one thing conclusively. The Dominion feared Project Prometheus. That meant they had a chance. As the Defiance approached the false human fleet, Hayes gave the order. "Now, Dr. Amari." Amari triggered Prometheus's secondary protocol. On the distant Dominion dreadnought, the device reactivated, not with the same power as before, but enough to cause visible disturbance in the vessel's shield systems. The effect on the disguised fleet was immediate. Several ships wavered like heat mirages, their human appearance flickering to reveal the true Dominion forms beneath. The flagship's communication cut off mid-sentence as it abandoned the deception to redirect power to countermeasures. "Full power to engines," Hayes shouted. "Execute emergency jump protocol." The Defiance surged forward, its overtaxed engines screaming as it accelerated away from the Dominion trap. Space bent around them as the jump drive engaged, tearing a hole in reality itself. The last thing Hayes saw before the stars streaked into oblivion was the Dominion fleet shedding their human disguises, revealing their true forms as they moved to intercept. Then the Defiance was gone, hurtling through the dimensional corridor of fold space, carrying with it humanity's last hope, and the knowledge that their enemy could be hurt. The Defiance emerged from fold space into an asteroid field, its hull groaning in protest. Warning klaxons sounded throughout the ship as multiple systems failed simultaneously. "Jump drive completely burned out," Kaido reported grimly. "We won't be making another fold without major repairs." Hayes nodded, surveying the damage reports flooding his console. "Can we at least maintain stealth capabilities?" "Barely," Kaido confirmed. "But our power signature is minimal. Unless they know exactly where to look, we should remain hidden." The bridge crew worked in grim silence, stabilizing critical systems and assessing their situation. The Defiance had sustained heavy damage during their escape, but somehow remained operational, a testament to its experimental design and the skill of its engineering team. "Where are we?" Hayes finally asked. Rodriguez consulted the navigational array. The Kuiper belt stir. The emergency protocols defaulted to the last programmed coordinates, the edge of our solar system. A bitter irony. They had fled from Earth's destruction, only to be drawn back to its graveyard. Sol's distant light was barely visible from here, a faint point among countless stars. "The Dominion will expect us to run," Hayes said after a moment's thought. "They'll be searching the known human colonies and outposts. They won't anticipate us returning to Sol's system." "For good reason," Rodriguez pointed out. "There's nothing left here." Hayes stared at the asteroid field surrounding them. Maybe. Maybe not. "Dr. Amari, what did we learn from the Dominion's deception attempt?" Amari looked up from her work. Exhaustion etched on her features. "Several things. First, they're capable of sophisticated mimicry, including replicating human communication patterns. Second, they fear Prometheus enough to attempt capture rather than destruction. And third," she hesitated. "Go on, Doctor," Hayes prompted. "Third, they now recognize humans as a legitimate threat. They wouldn't have committed so many resources to this deception otherwise." An alert from Patel's station interrupted them. "Commander, I'm detecting faint signals originating from within the asteroid field. Low-power transmissions, heavily encrypted." The bridge fell silent. After the Dominion's deception, no one was eager to chase phantom hopes. "Could it be automated beacons from before the fall?" Hayes suggested. Patel shook her head. "No, sir. These are active transmissions, constantly changing encryption patterns. And," she paused, double-checking her readings, "they're using quantum entanglement communication. The same technology we developed for Prometheus." Hayes exchanged glances with Amari. Quantum entanglement communication was theoretical when the Defiance had left Earth. No working prototype had existed. "Can you determine the source?" Hayes asked. "Difficult with our damaged sensors," Patel replied. "But it appears to be coming from one of the larger asteroids approximately 2,000 kilometers from our position." Hayes weighed their options. If these were survivors from Earth, they needed to make contact. If it was another Dominion trap, approaching could mean their destruction. "We can't risk the ship," he decided finally. "Prepare the stealth shuttle. I'll lead a small team to investigate." "Sir," Rodriguez protested, "regulations clearly state." "Regulations were written before humanity was nearly exterminated." "Lieutenant," Hayes cut her off. "I need you here to command the Defiance if this goes wrong." The preparation for the mission was conducted in tense silence. Hayes selected 3 crew members to accompany him. Dr. Amari for her technical expertise, Security Chief Cortez for protection, and Engineer Kaido to assess any technology they might discover. As they boarded the shuttle, Rodriguez approached Hayes with a grim expression. "Standing orders, sir." Hayes understood the unspoken question. If he didn't return, what should she do with humanity's last warship and the secrets it carried? "If we're not back in 6 hours, assume the worst," he said quietly. "Take the Defiance beyond the heliosphere and activate the emergency beacon. Then run as far as the ship will take you." Rodriguez nodded, her expression resolute. "Good hunting, Commander." The shuttle detached from the Defiance with barely a whisper, its stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. As they navigated through the asteroid field, Hayes found himself holding his breath, scanning the darkness for any sign of Dominion vessels. The target asteroid grew larger in their viewport, an irregular mass of rock and ice several kilometers across. As they drew closer, Kaido's instruments detected something remarkable. "Sir," he reported incredulously, "I'm reading power signatures inside the asteroid. And artificial gravity. Someone's hollowed it out." Hayes leaned forward, studying the asteroid's cratered surface. "Any sign of defense systems?" "None that I can detect," Kaido replied. "But there's something else, faint traces of the same technology the Dominion uses in their shield systems." The implications sent a chill through the shuttle's cabin. Either Earth survivors had somehow adapted alien technology for their own use, or they were flying directly into another trap. "Take us in," Hayes ordered. "Weapons ready, but do not fire unless fired upon." The shuttle descended toward a dark crevice that sensors indicated led to an interior cavity. As they entered the shadow of the asteroid, their communications with the Defiance crackled and died. They were on their own now. The narrow crevice widened suddenly into a vast, hollowed chamber at the asteroid's core. The shuttle's lights pierced the darkness, revealing a sight that left the crew speechless. A miniature city spread before them. Habitat modules connected by transparent tunnels, hydroponics gardens glowing with artificial sunlight, and a small shipyard where vessels of unfamiliar design were under construction. "My God," Ameri whispered. "An entire colony." Cato's console beeped urgently. "Commander, we're being scanned. Multiple targeting systems have locked onto us." Before Hayes could respond, their communication system activated. A woman's voice, unmistakably human, filled the cabin. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down immediately and prepare to be boarded, or you will be destroyed." Hayes exchanged glances with his team. Unlike the false Admiral Thomas, this communication carried no undertones of deception. He opened a channel. "This is Commander Ellis Hayes of the Earth Defense Force vessel Defiance. We are human survivors seeking contact with any remaining colonies." A long pause followed. When the voice returned, it was cautious but less hostile. "Defiance was reported destroyed during the fall. Transmit authentication codes and prepare for escort." Hayes transmitted his command codes, information only a human EDF officer would possess. Minutes later, 2 small craft detached from the colony and approached their shuttle, guiding them to a docking bay embedded in the asteroid's inner wall. Armed personnel in uniforms, Hayes didn't recognize, met them as they disembarked. Their weapons were clearly of human manufacture, but modified with components that resembled Dominion technology. Commander Hayes, a tall woman, stepped forward, her bearing unmistakably military despite her civilian attire. "I'm Colonel Rivera, commander of Sanctuary Base. 3 years ago, everyone thought you'd deserted when the Defiance disappeared during the Arcturus battle." Hayes straightened. "We were carrying out Operation Prometheus under direct orders from Fleet Command, a stealth mission to develop weapons against the Dominion." Rivera studied him carefully, then nodded. "Follow me. There's someone who'll want to see you." They were led through the colony, a remarkable achievement of human ingenuity and desperation. Approximately 2,000 people inhabited the asteroid, Rivera explained. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and civilians who had escaped Earth's fall by being in the right place at the wrong time. "We were a deep space research outpost," Rivera said as they walked, "studying Dominion debris from their first attacks. When Earth fell, we went dark, buried ourselves in this asteroid, and continued our work." "And what work is that?" Ameri asked. Rivera smiled grimly. "The same as yours, Doctor. Finding a way to hurt them." They entered what appeared to be a command center, where technicians monitored communications and sensor arrays. At its center stood a figure Hayes had believed dead, Admiral Marcus Chen, former head of Earth's Advanced Weapons Division. "Commander Hayes," Chen's weathered face broke into a rare smile. "I'd given up hope of seeing the Defiance again." After exchanging salutes, Hayes quickly briefed the Admiral on Project Prometheus, its partial success, and the Dominion's subsequent deception attempt. Chen listened intently, then gestured toward a holographic display dominating the center of the room. "Your mission wasn't the only iron in the fire, Commander. While you were developing Prometheus, we were working on something else." The hologram showed schematics for a weapon unlike anything Hayes had seen before, part Dominion technology, part human innovation. "We call it Ragnarok," Chen explained. "Using salvaged Dominion tech, we've developed a device that can create artificial singularities. Microscopic black holes with precisely controlled decay rates." "A planet killer," Hayes realized. "A species killer," Chen corrected. "We've identified the Dominion homeworld." The hologram shifted to show a star system Hayes didn't recognize, with a ringed planet highlighted. "How is that possible?" Ameri asked. We've never captured a Dominion navigational system. We didn't have to, Chen replied. We followed them home. The Dominion ships use quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication across vast distances. We found a way to trace those signals back to their source. Hayes understood now why the colony was hidden in an asteroid, not just for protection, but because they were building something the Dominion would destroy worlds to prevent. "What's your plan, Admiral?" he asked. "The Ragnarok device is nearly complete," Chen explained. "But we face two problems. First, we need a delivery system that can penetrate Dominion defenses. Second, we need a diversion significant enough to draw their fleet away from their homeworld." Hayes thought of the Defiance, waiting beyond the asteroid field, of Project Prometheus and what it had revealed about Dominion vulnerabilities. "I believe we can help with both, Admiral." In the days that followed, the survivors of the Defiance integrated with the asteroid colony. Their knowledge of Dominion shield frequencies from Project Prometheus proved invaluable in refining the Ragnarok device. The Defiance itself, once repaired, would serve as the perfect delivery system, its stealth capabilities enhanced with technology developed by the colony. 2 weeks after their arrival, Hayes stood with Admiral Chen in the observation dome, looking out at the distant spark that was Earth's sun. "Tomorrow we launch," Chen said quietly. "One ship, carrying the hopes of everyone they tried to exterminate." Hayes nodded, the weight of command heavier than ever. "The Defiance will not fail, sir." "I know," Chen replied. "Because this time, we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for vengeance." As Hayes gazed toward the stars where the Dominion homeworld lay, he thought not of revenge, but of justice. The aliens had sought to erase humanity from existence, never understanding the fundamental truth that every human child learned. Cornered prey fought the hardest. The Dominion had crushed every fleet, destroyed every colony, and burned humanity's homeworld. But they had made one critical mistake. They had left survivors. And now, humanity would fight back.